One of the worst things holding most people back at the gym is not knowing how to run training programs for a really long time to get truly incredible results. I'm your host, Bald Omni-Man, and today I have 3 tips that I guarantee that will help you lock in, get more out of the training programs that you're running, and ultimately get you bigger and stronger. When we all first got started working out at the gym, we all had a lot of fun with our training, and ultimately that got us great results relative to where we started. Part of that, I'm not gonna lie, was just from us being new to the gym, but a lot of that also came from us naturally gamifying our training. First and foremost, I think when you gamify your training, it helps you find your joy with training again if you happen to have lost it. So my favorite way to gamify my training while also staying on track is through linear periodization. You start low weight, high rep, and you end heavier weights, lower reps. It's a time-tested and champion-proven way to improve your strength. And if you're interested, I made a free template to show you the easiest way to run this progression that you can find for free in the description. Check it out after you're finished with this video. And like I said, while people have been using this for decades to get really freaking strong, it's also a way to automatically gamify your training. So basically, you have target weights and intensities each week that you can hit with individual PRs, and that leaves each session feeling fresh and engaging. A common hurdle that people have when running a linear periodization program is that the program does call for lifting lighter weights at the beginning, which some people, when they're used to lifting really heavy, have a hard time mentally adjusting to. That's an easy fix. Here's how I want you to think about it. When you look at it this way, that you, for instance, say get to hit 225 on bench for 25 reps and not, I don't get to hit 315 for 8 to 10 reps. You feel less like you're regressing in your training with using lighter weights and more like you're building a complete package by being really strong in a variety of rep ranges. The second thing that I recommend is only to compare yourself to yourself, but specifically under identical circumstances. No, I don't mean that just in the often phrase, it's you versus you kind of thing. What I really mean by this is that we only compare week 1 performance to other week 1 performances in subsequent runs of our programs, and then so on and so forth for week 2, week 3. A common complaint that I see comes from lifters who say that weights feel heavier than they should at the beginning of a program after running it a second time. So I just hit 500 for 5 reps. I expect to get 365 for 20, but it's really hard to do 12. Here's the thing, fellas. Sometimes when you're running a well-written program, you'll be a little bit weaker at the start of it and a little bit stronger at the end. That's just the body's natural way of peaking and tapering. And it doesn't mean that the program needs reworking or that you're doing something wrong. It just means things are going the way that they're supposed to. If your dad or your grandpa ever told you don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 100, it's kind of that same thing, but with lifting weights. Ultimately, we want to measure in a relative sense how much better our week 1 performance is getting every cycle of our program, and then we do the same thing for week 2, week 3, and so on. The simplest way to have all this data at your fingertips is to track it. What you don't track, you can't manage. And if you're looking for a free program to use, check out my Beast Slayer program on Boost Camp if you're interested, with my link down below. Now, with regards to recycling through our programs, I'll give you a quick little extra tidbit that I got from 3DMJ. To preamble, I'm a big believer in that if you get stronger, you're ultimately going to get bigger over the long term. This doesn't always mean just piling more weight on the bar. You could lift the same weight more skillfully for more reps, do the same reps in less time. But the idea is that you want to keep a movement in for long enough to get truly good at it. A lot of the exercises that really move the needle for me, I've kept in for, quite honestly, 4, 5, 6, 7 months without doing anything other than changing the volume and the intensity. Bringing it back to our previous point, when you keep the same exercises in and you train them over a prolonged period of 2, 3, 4, 5 training cycles, you have more data points to accurately assess your progress, and that's super important. What makes the Berserk method, my style of programming, unique from other people's styles of training is that I tend to treat a lot more movements like how powerlifters treat the squat, the bench, the deadlift. I got one more tip for the road for folks that have ran their programs a few times and just want a new and fun way to push for a bit more progress than last time. Most lifters that can lift a decent amount of weight don't make progress because they do not know how to create momentum in their training. Now, this is where I typically come in with my linear periodization programming and just teach them how to get in great workouts while also pacing themselves out. But you have to know how to do that in order to do this. But a new strategy of mine is to purposely overextend a little bit for a few weeks at the beginning of the program on a new run of it, just to get a few more reps on the board than last time. This may look like getting a bit less technical with the form, pushing a little bit harder than what's prescribed, or a combination of both. So on my next run of the program, the next time that I get back to these weight ranges, instead of being concerned with adding weight or reps, I'm just going to try to match the reps that I did last cycle, but do it a little bit easier and a little bit cleaner than the time before. The reason why this is helpful is pretty simple. As much as we want to practice good habits with our training in a way to build momentum, every once in a while we need to push past our limitations in order to reach those new heights. Practically, this is going to look like, say, going 0 to 1 reps in reserve on something that may have told me to go 2 to 3 reps in reserve. I must reiterate, though, that this is a limit-breaking strategy and not what I would do first and foremost to make progress. Now, if you heard all that and you're still interested, you should also be prepared to have your diet on point as well, meaning that your protein, calories, hydration, and sleep has to be on point for you to get an actual good, productive training adaptation. You're overreaching a bit, and you have to fuel your body in order to facilitate good recovery at that point. But that's all she wrote, fellas. Let me know if you like this quicker, more information-dense style of content. I personally like it, and if you like it too, go ahead and drop me a like and a subscribe. And check out the new Omni bar if you're interested. It's that 6 specialty bar you saw me using throughout the video. If you want a chance to also get a free Omni bar, I'm also doing a giveaway, so go ahead and head over to Instagram for more details on how to enter. I'll be picking the winner there and then announcing it on my story in about 3 or 4 days, probably on July 5th. Thank you so much for the support, and thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a great day. See you later.